Now, you guys, I'm assuming, like talking to people. If you're in sales, I'm open. Okay? Not trying to make anybody quit today, but I'm saying if you don't like going to people, it's probably not the place for you. But what I'm saying is, it occurred to me that Russell Simmons said, hey, I am successful with Def Jam because I love it. And I started thinking, well, how am I going to love construction? I hate construction. I hate construction. And he goes on to talk about view whatever you're at as a means to attain what your life goals are. So construction started to be a great thing for me. I was pretty excited about it because I knew this job was going to lead to paying for my DJ career. And I think if you view your customers that way, sometimes it helps. If you're talking to customers, you're making your cold calls, you're dialing, you're smiling, you're doing the whole thing. Sometimes you lose the motivation unless you have a big goal in mind. So I think you take just 1 second, and if you can jot down on your handout there your 5-year goals. When I say your 5-year goal, please don't write anything. There's no test on this, so take it as seriously as possible. But don't write anything generic. With specificity, if you can write your 5-year goal, your financial 5-year goal, how much you have to make per year to make it worth it to continue working here. Because it's easy to accept mediocrity because success is so uncommon. So this is a decision right now. You're deciding what you want to do. I ask you, just look at and say, financially, what do I need to earn per year in 5 years? And because life isn't all about finance, you can also write personally, how do you want your family life to look in 5 years? Okay, I'll just give you an example. Our time will never be just right. We must act now. In the profoundness of that statement, I was like, I keep saying I'm going to start this DJ service. I keep saying I'm going to do it. I keep saying I'm going to do it. And I was saving up money to do it, but I would never do it because I just wanted to keep saving more money. So eventually I probably would have just saved money forever and then bought a diversified mutual fund and lost it all last month or something. But I determined, hey, the time's never going to be just right. I've got to do it now. And when I say do it now, I started cold calling to the phone book, and I started with apartments. Because it was I worked for the apartments. I called every single apartment in Tulsa to try to convince them they should use us for entertainment. And that's how I got my first bookings. If we move on to the next slide there. And so I bought the first DJ system, and doing that whole process, it occurred to me that digging holes and cutting rebar and pouring concrete is not really what I wanted to do here. If you can go on to the next slide there. But he has nice byproducts. You get the shape. If you go to the next one here. So at college now, I started kind of this magnificent stuff. And then we moved up to Minnesota, and I discovered Kirby Puckett. He's the lone African American in the entire state. There he is. And there's the Vikings. We had rhubarb. We cut our cookies into bars in Minnesota. We don't consume normal cookies. We have bars. And then I lived in a town that was famous for having the world's largest ball of twine. And that was its claim to fame. It's a ball of twine that's 15 feet tall, and there it is in it's got its own little hut they built, the town of Darwin. I strongly encourage you to plan a vacation around it. Don't go to Arlington, come out to Darwin. And then we have the Eskimos. We celebrated the corn annually with our corn carnival in town. We can go to the next slide. But I think the altruism we have here is that areas of poor service offer huge opportunities. And as a business owner, I want you to think about your business for just a second. The Yellow Page guys that call me do not know what they're talking about. I was just talking with the Crabtrees. They do their research on your product. They study what cars park in the parking lot at these restaurants. They know what cars park there. They know the demographics of the restaurants. They can tell me if I buy an ad that my ad's going to be viewed 12 inches from somebody's face and by somebody who eats there weekly, or they're a local, they live in the area, and these people tend to be wealthier people. The Yellow Page guy can't tell me that. All he can tell me is that we're dropping off your Yellow Pages to anyone. And I will tell you this, as a DJ, we do our demographic research, and there's certain people I don't want to see my ad. Right? I mean, I don't want certain people to call who are price focused. I want people focused on quality. And the only way to do that is through a researched product. And I think that's one thing you have is advertising is an area of poor service. There's a ton of advertising companies out there selling a ton of bogus stuff. And with a great salesman, I'm sure they can pull it off. But next slide. And I think after you leave this conference, the biggest travesty you can do for yourself is to leave here and stop learning. This is just an introduction into learning. If you don't use your muscles, they atrophy. If you don't use your brain, you become like everybody else. So I strongly encourage you to read, learn, and apply. But in college is the first time I started to do that. We can go to the next slide.